the federal, state, province, county, city, township, agency present. This is also for notary, poll workers, school board members, anyone who has signed an oath to the de facto government. Please raise your hand, say your name, and state your position. Okay, number 2, this meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner to eliminate all conflict and false allegations. Is there anyone in attendance at tonight's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency of a federal, state, county, city, township, province, agency present? This is also for notary, poll workers, school board members, anyone who has signed an oath to the de facto government. Please raise your hand, say your name, and state your position. Okay, final reading. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner to eliminate all conflict and false allegations. Is there anyone in attendance at tonight's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency of any federal, oh my goodness, of any federal, state, province, county, city, township, agency present? Apologize. This is also for notary, poll workers, school board members, anyone who signed an oath to the de facto government. Please raise your hand, say your name, and state your position. And we'll all clear. So I'll open it up with a small prayer. Oh, Holy Father, bless our meeting with eyes to see and ears to hear the messages and information being presented with an open and caring and compassionate heart for all our fellow brothers and sisters, as it shall be done. Take it away, Glenn.
Okay, I am putting in the chat.
Recording. Hang on, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm glad you're telling us. I just put in the chat how I sign my documents. And I'm not sure if I did it on that lawsuit, and that could be a defect. Probably is. Let me just look. I'm just looking right now on that lawsuit on the PDF. Yeah, I didn't do it. That's why they're doing that shit. Okay, so if you're reading my chat in the chat on the group, the way I sign it on documents now, it's GlennWinningham, House of Fern, sua juris, fails to be dead or lost at sea, has never been dead or lost at sea, fails to be a surety for the Pope's minor estate, 31 CFR 363.6, fails to be representing the Pope's minor estate, 31 CFR 363.6. So, anyways, so you have the text. I would highly recommend everybody use that. There's a bunch of documents. I was talking with some friends tonight. There's a bunch of documents. I happen to be in Texas. And about 20 years ago, I filed a bunch of documents in Arizona, but I haven't moved them into Texas. And things like a revocation of power of attorney, all sorts of stuff. And there's a bunch of them. There's literally hundreds of them. And I never have any trouble when I go to Arizona. But maybe I need to file them here in Texas. I'm not exactly sure, because the county recorders here, a lot of them won't file them, and if they do file them, they charge a lot more money than they do in Arizona. And like it's $4 a page, whereas in Arizona it's for the first 13 pages it's or 8 pages, I think it's $13, and after that it's $1 a page. That's a lot less expensive. Anyways, so let's just get going. I got this. I'm on the group. I'm sharing a document. One of those documents from that commoner law group. This is, I'm only showing it to encourage people to go and buy the whole set of 5. They're not that expensive, and they're well worth it. People charge a lot more. They charge, like, I think it was $87 or $97 I paid. It's well worth it. And I know some people have said they don't have $100, and that's possible. You're not supposed to share them, and so I'm not doing this I'm doing this to encourage people to go and buy their own copy, because $100 isn't that much money, in my opinion. I've been blessed. I got to tell you, I've been blessed. I'm going to step aside for about 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Yeah, so I've been blessed. Um, I've been out of work for almost 20 years, since 2015. No, 10 years. And so there's a lot of people that would be living in a cardboard box under those circumstances. There's a lot of people that are living in a cardboard box. Anyways, so I got to give God credit. I guess he wants me doing what I'm doing. Anyways, but I would encourage everybody to get one that is capable of getting it, and maybe donate one to people that can't afford it. I might consider something like that. If someone could show me they couldn't afford it, then, but if you can't afford it, then it's I'm not sure how much it'd help you. I mean, you got to be able to make documents and print documents and all sorts of stuff. Anyways, so criminal cases are inherently commercial in nature, falling under the definition of commercial crimes in 27 CFR 7211. People have talked about this for decades. I got YouTube videos about this, which includes offenses against the revenue laws, The court will avoid admitting the case is an excise tax issue arising from an IRS 1099-A and related bonds. You must identify the law form jurisdiction. The U.S. Constitution, Article 3, Section 2, recognizes only 4 law forms: law, equity, admiralty, and maritime. Only law and admiralty are criminal jurisdictions. Common law requires an injured party, but since Erie Railroad versus Tompkins, federal common law was abolished at the state level. We now have Article 1 administrative courts for contracts and legal fictions. Equity does not punish, so it cannot be the basis for a criminal charge. Therefore, the starting jurisdiction for every criminal case as an administrative court is colorable vice admiralty. Operating under the color of law as a contractual obligation you are coerced into accepting. Your Sixth Amendment right, reinforced by Ferretta versus California, to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, is a powerful tool. The court will likely resist answering, potentially labeling your inquiry as a sovereign citizen claim or declaring you incompetent. They may enter a not guilty plea for you and appoint a public defender to gain in rem jurisdiction violating Ferretta. You must then petition for a Ferretta hearing to dismiss the defender and correct the plea. The true nature of the accusation is commercial, with taxes due on the court bonds. Your demand is to see the 1099-A, CUSIP, and bonds to settle the accounts. Refusal to answer the nature of the accusation is a reversible error on appeal. So, script for your criminal appearance. I, your name, in my case it'd be GlennWinningham. I'm appearing specially and not generally on behalf of the named defendant estate, also known as GlennWinningham Fern. Before any plea is entered, I have a few questions for the state and the prosecutor to answer on the record of this court. I understand that the state has allegedly brought criminal charges against me. If this is the case, then in accordance with the U.S. Constitution, I require the state and the prosecutor state the Sixth Amendment nature of the accusation on the record of this court or dismiss this case with prejudice. In accordance with Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution, which of the two criminal law form jurisdictions has this action been brought under? Common law or colorable vice admiralty? Since the state is a fiction of law, is bringing the action of charges, it can't possibly be common law and can only be colorable vice admiralty. I'm motioning and ordering this court to revoke and revest the court case trust securities. I motion and order this court and the state to produce the IRS 1099-A CUSIP bid performance and payment bonds for set-off settlement and adjudicate all claims, balance all accounts to zero, discharge, close all accounts, return any remaining funds to me, and dismiss the case with prejudice. If you refuse your fiduciary duty, I'm declaring aggravated identity theft, accounting fraud, and false statements and concealment, tax evasion, embezzlement, and securities fraud, and reserve all rights in law and equity to file a criminal complaint by removing this case by qui tam to U.S. Tax Court to resolve the accounting and tax issue and the bonds. I never consented to any person creating tax records or securities in the name of my estate. This sequence exposes the criminal liability of the court officers for using your identity for pecuniary gain. Be prepared to for severe pushback, including potential unlawful detention or commitment for a psychiatric evaluation. If you are arrested and the case is dismissed, you may have a tort claim against the prosecutor for failure to prosecute. Civil damages can be calculated under 18 U.S.C. 3571, with felonies potentially incurring $250,000 in liability. Unlawful detention could be valued at $25,000 per 23-minute period from arrest to dismissal. The security bonds for court officers often do not cover the full extent of these tort liabilities, which is a primary reason for their vigorous defense. Do not accept an ovation or an accord and satisfaction, which is a check, as it extinguishes your original claim. The opposing party is operating with unclean hands as has not produced the required certified accounting records. The underlying securities may continue to be traded even after the case is supposedly closed. Three hidden instruments. The financial architecture of the courts. I'm not going to read this whole thing because this is still, but the purpose of this is to help you to understand what's going on and how to deal with it. They give you text, as you can see right here, on what to say. Now, remembering all of that when the time comes is difficult, and you can't hire a lawyer. You cannot hire a lawyer. And you have to understand what's going on. I'll do this next page, and then that'll be it. Actually, I think we read this. We read this last time. So how is name present creates debtor status? Is name present creates debtor status? The court's opening ritual, the calling of names, is no mere administrative formality. When the bailiff intones, "Is John Doe present?" and you respond yes, you have unwittingly authenticated an account entry that transforms you from a rights-bearing individual into a debtor in the court's financial system. And so I know what I do is I'll say, "I'm here about that matter." But it might be better to use that other one. In the past, that's what I've done. This exchange creates a ledger entry where your legal persona, the all caps name, becomes the obligor on a series of financial instruments. Federal courts confirmed this conversion process in re County of Cook versus Smith, 7th Circuit, 2021, where bankruptcy judges ruled municipal courts may treat defendants as account debtors under UCC 9-102A2. The moment your verbal acknowledgement hits the court reporter's transcript, the three financial offenses occur. The clerk creates a receivable entry in the county's general ledger, GASB statement number 84. Your Social Security number or state ID number is attached to a payment bond, 26 CFR 1.6049-A-5B2. The judge's fiduciary duty to bondholders crystallizes under 26 U.S.C. 671. This explains why savvy litigants respond differently. Appearing specially to challenge jurisdiction under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12B1, no general appearance made. These 16 words preserve your status as a creditor rather than a debtor in the court's accounting system. General versus special appearance battle tactics. Most attorneys and nearly all pro se litigants commit catastrophic errors when challenging jurisdiction. And they file motions filed with constitutional arguments while unwittingly submitted to the court's financial control through procedural missteps. The distinction between general and special appearances has nothing to do with legal theory and everything to do with accounting treatment. A general appearance occurs when you answer calendaring questions, file motions without jurisdictional caveats, participate in substantive discussions. Each act triggers FASB ASC 470-50-40 debt recognition, allowing the court to book your case as a performing asset. By contrast, a special appearance under Pennoyer versus Neff 95 U.S. 714 maintains your creditor status by limiting all participation to jurisdictional challenges. The winning formula combines three filings: a notice of special appearance, Federal Rule Civil Procedure 12B2, filed 72 hours pre-hearing, a verified declaration under 28 U.S.C. 1746 stating, I do not consent to these proceedings and appear solely to challenge jurisdiction over my exempt property under 15 U.S.C. 1672. So verified means it's affidavit.
Could I ask a question, or should we wait to the end for questions?
You can go ahead and ask. I don't see a problem.
I was just curious. I've heard people say that, only ghosts appear, so you wouldn't really say appearance, you would say visitation. Is that true?
You can do that if you want. I would, I don't know. If there's a lot of theories out there, unproven theories, I might add. And this stuff,
Yes.
up until now, I considered unproven theories, but this guy's pretty sharp, and that's why I'm talking about it.
Gotcha.
So they are calling it appearance. And if you want to get labeled a sovereign citizen and start taking reprisals against you because of that, then knock yourself out. A motion to quash service citing Omni Capital versus Rudolph Wolf and Company, 484 U.S. 97. This trifecta forces the court to either produce authenticated bond instruments proving jurisdiction or dismiss the case for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. The paper trail that collapses cases. And actually, I'm not going to read this any further. I'm going to end this right here. Jurisdictional challenges succeed only when backed by irrefutable financial evidence. The following document requests, when pursued in sequence, inevitably expose the accounting fraud underlying modern prosecutions. And so there's first day and there's second day, and so what I would do is, if you want that stuff, is get the books. Okay, this is still book 2. Okay, we're only in book 2. There's 5 books in the series, and they're all available right now. I would highly recommend, for the $100, it's well worth it. It's up to you. I'm not going to make you do anything that you don't want to do, but there's lots of people that are in the hotel because of these courts. Okay, there's no justice in these courts. Anyways, I think that's about all I'm going to say as far as that's concerned. And I'm glad you're asking questions. You can call it a visitation if you want. I probably would call it an appearance. You're right, ghosts only appear. It's all Satanism. It's satanic, right? It's what it is, because it's necromancy. I mean, you got to be prepared to make those kinds of arguments.
Right, and I just thought, like, if you're looking at you as the fiction, the corporate fiction dead entity, I didn't know if that would give it presumption for it.
So, anyways, I don't want to cover too much because these books they're selling them and they're not making that much money off them, and I don't want to encroach on what they're doing. I approve of what they're doing. I like their work. I like Todd's work. I think that he's right on the money. It's a very technical argument, which makes it difficult. Really, the solution is if you read further on in that book, and it tells you all sorts of cases on how people in different cases defeated things. Last week we talked about one guy that got a $2.8 million whistleblower award from the IRS, and so those
It's
things are possible.
23%, right, Glenn?
Exactly. And so those things are possible. I am actually preparing a whistleblower form, the Form 211, for someone. I'm not sure if I'm going to have as enough information, but I have a QSIP. And so hopefully that's enough evidence to get the IRS to do something to look into it. The IRS is like any government agency right now. There's not a lot of people there, so they have to prioritize things, and so they got to do stuff that's going to get results, and they work on commissions. I don't know if you know that or not, but they do, and so they get 5%, and so if you think about it, like I've got a QSIP right here that is worth $208 billion, $453,682,000. Now, I don't know. It's on a friend's case. I don't know how much of his case is that $208 billion, but I'll bet you that'll get the IRS's attention enough to look into that and see if they can find out how much of that case belongs to that friend of mine that's in prison right now. If say it's, who knows, 10 million. If it's 10 million and he gets 5%, think about that. 10 million, 5% is 1 million. 1% of 10 million is $10,000. So that's 50 grand. He'll get 50 grand. And 1 million, 1% is $10,000. No, it's $100,000. 1 million, 10% of 10 million is $100,000. And so then that'd be $500,000. That ought to motivate an IRS official. $500,000. So they'll. I mean, it probably doesn't take them long, and they'll see that, and they'll sit there and who knows, maybe 20 minutes build a case. And all sorts of stuff. Find all sorts of stuff. Anyways, if it was 10 million. So I don't know. My attitude is you got to make it easy for them, because they're shorthanded, just like anybody in the government. Trump has been firing people, and I'm glad he's doing it. So they don't have a lot of people to help, and you got to make it easy so that they can. You got to get their attention. Let me put it that way. So, anyways, I would highly recommend that we're working on getting QSIP numbers. I got one for this one case. I have the people that got it for me. I have them looking into where they got it from so that I can get more and maybe get a volume discount. I'm looking into alternatives. I went and left a chat actually on this group in the general discussion. And how long ago was it? Oh, Queen answered it. $100. Okay. Okay, so Queen says that she's getting ready to do it, so that's good. Okay, they're working on it. Good. This is in the general discussion. Yeah. So any help you guys can give me as soon as someone if they can let me know. I'd really appreciate it because I've got a bunch of cases I want to start working on. I got some friends I want to try and help, and if I don't mind $100, I can deal with that. If like maybe there's a volume discount, and so then if not, whatever, $100, that's okay. So yeah, keep me posted, please.
I think that's great that you got the value of it, of the CUSIP.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be. I'm just reading the chat in the general section there because I didn't know that much had gone on.
There was a chap on this week that was said that he had, by my recommendation, actually, he called the IRS directly because he wanted to not find out the CUSIP, but he wanted to do something with the case. So what he specified was that they were interested after he received an exemplified copy of the case, where the case had gone from the clerk to the judge back to the clerk. It had 3 signatures on it. Not certain about the seals, but it had those 3 different signatures on it. And the IRS were very interested in that document without even filling in the 211 forms that we're talking about now. But he said that made a very big difference in their interest in the case.
Exemplified copy, isn't that interesting? I've heard about that before. Now, what's the difference between a regular copy, a certified copy, and an exemplified copy?
Well, my understanding and what I received, what I think is an exemplified copy because it's got the 3 signatures, came directly from the court of the clerk of court, right in the court where it was filed. Right, I just went up to the clerk and said, "I'd like to have every case that my name is on." So they gave me everything that I asked for, or everything that I know was handled in that one case, which was 4 cases. One was my name wasn't even put on the case, but it was regarding my partner. So I imagine that's why I got his. exemplified case as well, but they all had CUSIP numbers attached to them. So that's how I got mine. But I've never looked up the value of it because I know it's.
Well, all I need is a CUSIP number. That's interesting. You could probably look up the value. See, they don't, according to, if you read this document, they rarely, most of the time, the CUSIP numbers are incorrectly filed, the securities are incorrectly filed, and it's multiple felonies. And so all you need is to start bringing up those questions, and they start looking into it and finding out that, it's not done right, and there's defects, and the shit starts to hit the fan. You know what I mean?
According to equity, one mistake in a contract makes it void.
Yeah, that too. That too. So, anyways, okay. So I'm glad the Queen is helping out with that, and it sounds like there's a good chance that we will be able to start getting CUSIP numbers. Exemplified copy. I'll have to ask for an exemplified copy of every case.
And then I have a question after we're done.
Go ahead.
Okay, through any of Todd's books, has he mentioned the Form 8300 that the judge is supposed to fill out?
Well, I'm sure they do. I don't know. I've only read 2 of them so far, and I'm just digesting them. There's 3 more that I have to read. This book that we're reading right now, it's not that long, but it is 37 pages. And so there's still quite a bit of material. This is page 14 that we're on right here. So, day 1, second demand, day 15, 15 days later, day 30.
So you know what I'm hoping is that you get direct contact with Todd and invite him to join you on WeRLaw.
Well, that would be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I don't know how to get a hold of him though, but and I don't want to. I want to bring him a bunch of business. Quite frankly, I want people to be buying his stuff because he's got some great material. He's a brilliant guy, and so I really like his material. I'll tell you, and so, anyways.
Well, look for that number when you get through the rest of those books because apparently that's very significant.
Form 8100, eh?
No, 8300.
Well, let me look. I'll see. 8300. I'll do a search in this book. Nope, it's not in this book. The text 8300 is not in this book. So, anyways, yeah. If there's no more questions, then I guess we'll wrap it up for tonight. We've been going for how long have we been going here? Let me check on YouTube. It'll tell me how long we've been going. about 40 minutes. Well, maybe I'll start going through this book. I'll make it an hour. So
Awesome.
this is the paper trail that collapses cases. So this is a 30-day. So day 1, you file pursuant to 26 USC 6103 H4, produce all IRS 1099 series documents bearing the Social Security number, tax identification number related to this matter, including but not limited to 1099A, 1099-INT, and 1099 OID filings. Second day, day 15, under SEC Rule 17A, 3A12, provide complete transaction records for CUSIP number X, and I'm not sure what X is. Maybe I have to go down and get exemplified copies.
No, X is just referring to the number.
Exactly.
It's
But if you
bracketed.
get exemplified copies, it'll have the CUSIP number in there, including all SWIFT MP760 messages and FedWire advices, 31 CFR section 1010.420. And then on day 30, motion for judicial recusal based on 26 USC 7214A3, attaching evidence of your honor's unreported bond income from OGE form 728E filings. Office of Governor something OGE. I'm not sure what OGE stands for.
Original gangster.
Sorry, original gang what?
Original gangster.
Yeah, gangster. Yeah, right. This graduated approach worked spectacular in State versus Delgado, where the defendant obtained a 1099 showing his identity secured a $50,000 bond, SWIFT records proving the bond was sold to Credit Suisse, and the judge's financial disclosure revealing ownership of county bonds. Ooh, damn. And the case didn't just dismiss, it triggered an SEC investigation that led to 3 judicial resignations. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Nevada. Yeah, woohoo! Anyways, that's as far as I want to go with this. I would highly recommend this. Is we're only on page 14 right here, and this is just chock full of all sorts of really good stuff that we all need to be looking at and trying and getting evidence. It's one guy can't do all this. It's got to come from everybody, and that's why I'm telling you about it. But I want you to go and spend the money and buy the books, and then you'll have it for yourself. You won't need anything from me, because they can take reprisals, can sometimes, and do sometimes against individuals. But if it starts coming at them from every direction, then they're kind of screwed. And it forces accountability. If enough people do this stuff, we'll start getting good courts again where they're not doing that shit,
Well, that document that you've just mentioned touches on their embezzlement, the embezzlement that's going on, right? So they'll never admit or provide a full accounting because it shows the embezzlement that they don't want to admit to.
Well, but more than that, it's actually tax evasion, which is a felony. There's multiple felonies going on here, Lori. and that's why they're not going to they're going to dive for cover. That's why they resigned. I can tell you right now, because they got caught engaging in the felonies, and they had to resign. And they're probably going to wind up going to jail. There's felonies involved. And so you get the SEC going in there, and that's when you have good government. Think about it. We have good government when the government beats up on the government. It's, what do they say? When the people fear the government, you have tyranny. When the government fears the people, you have liberty. And so again, when we're holding their feet to the fire, then and we know how to do it in a way that they can't dispute, then all of a sudden we have good government. And so it's one step at a time.
Glenn, someone asked, what's the name of the book you mentioned earlier?
It's actually on the chat group. There's a link to it on my chat. Let me find it here. It's the Commoner. You get it at the Commoner Law Group on YouTube. Legal and then here's their website. I'll put it at the bottom of the chat, and you can get it there. It's the Commoner Law Group on YouTube, and let me go there. It's commonerlaw.com. Right. And it's at the very top of the page. It's called a Private Remedy Series. Trusts, Accounting, Everyday Wealth, Practical Path to Protection. Get your documents today. Secret Financials, that's the first video. They're showing, they have a link to that, to the first video with Todd Duell. The Secret Financials Underlying Our Justice System with Todd Duell, Duell. And get your documents today. So I put a link to the website in the bottom, commonerlaw.com. So if that's about it,
Doesn't look like any more questions.
nope, doesn't. And we're about 47 minutes in, so it's a little less than an hour. See on YouTube. Okay, I just gave the name of the book. Somebody was wondering about the name of the book. Thanks kindly. Hello from New Jersey. Hi from Texas. Yeah, we have good government when Jesus reigns for 1,000 years. I agree. I'm looking forward to it. Meanwhile, I think we have to do everything we can. Where's Brandon?
I heard just today on this channel that Trump bought up $250 billion worth of mortgage securities from Fannie Mae, I guess.
Well,
so
actually,
that's going to be positive.
Well, yes, I agree. And what he did is he told Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to buy $200 billion worth of mortgage securities. That's true. Yeah. Well, they said, I was reading articles on CNBC, and they figured it'd drop interest rates by about 0.5%. But another thing he did is he prevented big corporations from investing in the single family home market. In other words, BlackRock has been buying up single family homes, and he said you can't do that, and told them they can't do it anymore because that's actually driving up the price of single family homes and turn them into rentals. And they want people to be buying them for their own, you know what I mean? So big corporations can't be doing that. And I agree 100%. They got to should be just private individuals buying homes.
Yeah, there's townships here that they've entire townships they've purchased.
Okay, well, I suppose that's about it. Thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place, same channel.
Sounds great. Okay, I'll be here.
Okay, and thanks, Queen, if you're listening, for what you're doing, and keep me posted on these QSIP numbers. I'd really like to get some of this stuff, but I'm going to start looking for these
exemplified copies.
Exemplified. Yeah, that was it. I was looking for that word. I remember seeing that. I ordered some documents online and on the court's webpage. And I remember seeing that. So now we'll have to ask. And we ought to be able to ask in the state court, too, for an exemplified copy of the court case. Yeah. 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 All right. Sounds good.
With the QSIP numbers.
You have to specify that it has to have the QSIP numbers, or would the exemplified copy automatically have it?
Well, since you guys were talking
yeah.
earlier, I was there. I took notes when I think I know who Lay is talking about Jupiter when he was talking about it. And a couple of things he said, just to dovetail what you guys were saying, was I'm just reading the notes here. People have been misclassified. Everyone as a corporation. He started out by saying, and like to travel to the Philippines, for example, you need exemplification of record. But anyway, with QSIPs, he said soldiers as a corporation or something like that. And then he said a state within a state, but fiduciary appointment. I'm getting to the good stuff here. And then Flavor says something about unclouded property. But then finally, you see, he talks about, he doesn't really go in a lot, even that was kind of important what you were saying about this new definition of example of authentication, an additional judge and two clerks, a seal signature, you know, so you're getting a highly authenticated copy, and it has multiple seals, vital records, state, county, for intention, multiple signatures, and some other things, but that's just a rough idea. And he said at the end, I'm here to pay for authentication. Just when you go in there, I'm just here to pay for authentication services, to have things exemplified, move it up the chain of command. That's what he said.
Okay, sounds good. Well, keep me posted.
Yeah, okay. Give us your update next Friday. Take care, Glenn.
See you next week.
And it's a security then. Okay.
Well, if it's got a QSIP, it's definitely it's a security. That's the question. At what time, at what point does it become a security?
Proof that it is a security.
Good question. Yeah, that's what he said, then becomes a security. So I'm glad you guys are talking about it.
All right.
And he talked about it for like an hour. So it was vitally important to him and to all of us. So have a good weekend. See you next week. Don't be late.
All right. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.